All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Karli Barnett here at the First Alert Desk, and we want to give you an update to the stories that we've been covering for your Sunday night. So we have had our 6:30 broadcast already. You can join us again at 9 and 10 on Peachtree TV, and then again at 11 also on CBS. So we just want to give you a quick look at the weather, a quick look at some of the stories that we're working on. Of course, it is your holiday weekend. I'm sure all eyes are going to be on the forecast. So First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin is going to be joining us in just a minute. But first, I want to bring your attention to some of the stories that our reporters are working on. Our reporter Asia Wilson is going to be live for us tonight in DeKalb County, and that's after a smash and grab happened at a business. We'll take you to that video now. This happened at the Georgia Hemp Company in Decatur. Now, we are told this business has lost thousands of dollars in products after this smash and grab was caught on camera. Take a look at this. The Georgia Hemp Company says the man broke into their store. It was a little over a week ago, and at this point, no arrests have been made. This person in the video, they say, took federally legal hemp flower, which is a product that looks and smells like marijuana. It's an item that children who are sick or patients who have cancer use for medicine. And this video captures that man breaking into the building using a rock, as you saw, to smash the glass and unlock the door and walk inside. This all happened within minutes, and they say this happened back on June 24th. The man went behind the counter, as you saw. Here's a look at some of those products. And he drops a display container filled with that hemp flower. Here's a better look at this person's face on camera. The staff says that he proceeded to cut his hand when he unlocked the door, as you see there. So he did leave blood on the scene. They say they do have DNA evidence, as well as you can see, his face very clearly seen on camera. Here's what the owner of the Georgia Hemp Company had to say about this.
It's alarming. It's sad for our patients, who come here for their medicine. It can affect the availability of what they're coming here for relief for. You would think because we have security footage and DNA that this person would be found.
Well, again, reporter Asia Wilson will have more on this story just ahead. Police are still looking for that suspect caught on camera tonight. Something else that a lot of us are experiencing may be some travel trouble. Many people are going on vacation. Maybe you're traveling to or from your destination now. And we spoke to an Atlanta man who says that he honestly just had a nightmare of a time trying to transport his family to Canada. They were trying to take a trip for his son's graduation and says that they were just caught in a mess of trouble. They are just one of the thousands of people impacted when United Airlines had to cancel thousands of flights. They mentioned that it had to do with the weather, but I want to point you to this video. This is on my Twitter page right now. I'm going to go ahead and watch it. He took this video. He sent this to Atlanta News First of the customer service line. This is at Dulles Airport. I'll scroll down so you can see the full. It just keeps going. It keeps going and going. You see all those people. This is just for customer service. And he said ultimately they never even wound up making it to their destination. They're still here in Atlanta tonight. And reporter Yasmina Alston is speaking with them. So he told us a little bit about what he went through. He says that it was the worst experience that they have had to face as a family. They had been planning this trip for over a year, and they never made it to Calgary, Canada, which they had been planning for his son's graduation. He said over the week, his family spent 4 days in Atlanta, Washington, D.C., and the Denver airports. He says there were 3 flight cancellations to Calgary from multiple airports. They were stuck in the same clothes they were wearing. He says they slept only 6 hours throughout that ordeal. And he said he and his wife spent more than 48 hours in customer service lines. He says his family's compensation was $30,000 in airline miles, and the airline as we mentioned, said weather was the excuse. However, he believes it's due to a lack of staffing. So reporter Yasmina Alston is going to have more from this family and what they experienced, but we're also going to hear from Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. He was on CBS's Face the Nation this morning, so we will be incorporating that as well. Again, this is a really high travel time. We dealt with all of these travel troubles last year. The delayed flights, the canceled flights, and there have been many promises from the airlines themselves and from flight officials that these issues would be fixed by now. And then here, really at one of the busiest travel times of the year, we are starting to see some of those issues that were reminiscent of when things were kicking back up and flights were ramping back up again after the pandemic. So if you're traveling, if you have family traveling, that's something you will definitely want to tune in for. Now, here's a story that I think is just fun for our weekend. Reporter Joshua Skinner got to go to the Assembly Atlanta. That is a film studio, and it's owned by our parent company, Gray Television. I've been out there myself. Several other reporters have, but it is just an amazing sight to see. I was out there a couple of weeks ago, and it's amazing the progress they've made. And they're actually saying that they're going to be up and running by the end of this summer. And they gave our reporter Joshua Skinner a full behind-the-scenes tour, so he's going to take you there now.
It's been another year of progress for Assembly Atlanta at the site of the old GM car plant. 135 acres and 22 studios, like this one, which wasn't here a year ago. Sydney Jack is an operations specialist with... Wait. This shot is too wide. Okay, Sydney Jack is... We're still too wide. We're still too far away. They can't see her. Shot needs to be right there. There we go. Sydney Jack is an operations specialist with Assembly.
This is one of our smaller sound stages, and it feels super massive.
It also had the lights turned on last week. Unlike many movie setups, the studios at Assembly are designed specifically for TV and film.
These stages have been super well insulated, so you can scream inside of this building and you will not hear an echo.
Oh, really?
Welcome to Assembly Studios! No echo.
And that includes 50 feet up.
Well, we walked about 4 stories, so I am tired and a little bit embarrassed about it.
The film-specific design means these catwalks can literally handle tons of weight, making it safer for workers. Assembly Senior VP Rick Burns has overseen it all.
It's pretty crazy.
From studios to sets to public areas and even giant water tanks. But his dreams are even larger.
The possibilities are endless. My imagination runs wild in terms of what can be created here in terms of film and television.
Imagining a reality, bringing film and TV inside the perimeter with jobs and community in tow.
We've been really, really meticulous about making this a really nice and comfortable space.
At Assembly Atlanta in Doraville, Joshua Skinner, Atlanta News First.
It's just so great to see that progress. I remember when I was out there a couple of weeks ago, they were just putting the facades on those buildings, and they're going to be a dual purpose, so they're going to have office space inside, but then, of course, the front can actually be used for filming. And they said they spoke with the Georgia Film Commission about what people needed when they came to film in Georgia. Of course, there's so much that our state has to offer as far as different locations, the different topography of our state, but some of the things that people noted were they wanted a New Orleans type of set, the New York brownstone, and then some of that more European looking style. So you could see from Joshua's package there that that's what they definitely tried to incorporate here. The other thing that's really interesting is it's actually going to be open to the public too. So you don't have to be a director necessarily or an actor to get to enjoy it. There are going to be public areas like a public park that you can actually go and sit and eat and drink and maybe eventually watch a movie out there. They said a movie on the lawn. And one of the things they said they would love to see is to actually have a movie night with movies that have been filmed at that studio. I thought that was really cool. Of course, we're thinking way out there, but something else that we want to take a look at way out there. Look at that beautiful view of Kennesaw Mountain. This is just lovely, but we want to keep an eye on what the weather is going to be looking like for the rest of our weekend. We hope we're using words like lovely, but we're probably going to be using words like steamy.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Some lovely, before 8 o'clock in the morning, and then steamy, and then stormy in many areas. All of those adjectives used, and appropriately so, to describe this weekend. A little bit of something for everybody across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Again, thank you for tuning in and watching ANF Plus here, streaming you the First Alert forecast, continuing to bring you updates on the weather that we're seeing across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Again, a live look. You're taking a kind of northwestern view from Marietta Square, looking towards Kennesaw Mountain and back towards the Kennesaw area on the other side of the mountain there. And you can see the sunshine poking back out through those clouds, so we still do have some showers and thunderstorms traversing through North Georgia and even portions of Metro Atlanta. Again, thank you for tuning in, for watching. I'm Atlanta News First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin, here to give you a check of where storms are still traversing right now, the overnight forecast. We'll walk you through the work week. Of course, Independence Day plans could be impacted by a storm or two. We'll talk all about it coming up here in just a moment. Let's start right now, though, with what's happening outside right now, what's falling from the sky in places, and that is going to be on First Alert radar. We do have some rain trying to build into the west side, kind of just a sprinkle or two back into Buckhead, 400 at 285. Earlier light rain in Smyrna, Vinings has diminished. And remember, earlier this afternoon, you're impacted by heavy rain showers, thunderstorms in those areas. Southwest of town, getting back into South Fulton, Coweta County, Noonan area, light to moderate rain back into Carroll County near Carrollton, enough to wet the pavement and use the wipers. But the real downpours, at least on the south side, confined to Troup County, getting into Meriwether County as well. In fact, we'll put a timer on this. Going to pause radar first, and now we'll track this storm as it builds to the north, kind of gusting out right now, but still noticing that northward component to the heaviest part of this storm. It'll be in Warm Springs by 8:43, LaGrange 8:52, so within the next 30 minutes or so. South side of town even sooner. Hogansville 9:15, 9:23 into Grantville could make its way up into Coweta County, southern Coweta County in particular, if it holds together within the next 45 minutes to an hour. Again, some weird movement with storms today. We have storms on the south side and now surging to the north. We have storms on the east side of town, moving almost due east through Clark and Oconee counties. More storms, really showers at this point, but some thundery light rains in Rabun County. These are moving off to the north and to the east. So kind of an interesting movement with showers and thunderstorms. Nonetheless, city of Atlanta kind of spared the worst of it, though the north side, Sandy Springs area, did see some tree damage and power line damage earlier. Also some small hail reported in Dunwoody. Those are the reports, kind of the closer into the city of Atlanta reports that we did receive earlier today, a little bit earlier this evening across Metro Atlanta. But we'll do this again. If you missed out on rain today and your yard could use a quench after some of the afternoon sun, the afternoon heat we've had the past few days. Avita, hello to you. Thanks for watching on Atlanta News First Plus on YouTube. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, YouTube the place to be, the account to follow, Atlanta News First. That's the one we're live on right now. But again, if you did miss the rain today, no worries. There is more opportunity on the way, though. Overnight tonight, expect a drying trend in the First Alert forecast. Maybe some thundery rains through about 9, maybe 10 p.m. By 11, though, we're going to drop that First Alert. Chance of rain and thunder really diminishes. And I think a pretty quiet overnight tonight. And we're going to wake up to a mix of sun and clouds. If you saw heavy rain today, could wake up to some patchy dense fog as well on your Monday morning. Mid-70s inside the perimeter, 71 Kennesaw, Roswell, Milton, Alpharetta, about 70, 71. Redan, Lithonia, South DeKalb, 72. Douglasville, West Side, 70. Palmetto, and the city of South Fulton, 70 degrees. 71 in McDonough. And a little cooler up in the mountains, rain-cooled, of course, after this evening's storms, and a little bit cooler just because of the elevation play there. Blairsville, 64 to wake up tomorrow morning, a little bit more comfortable in that higher elevation. Drivecast, if you're working Monday before Independence Day, we're going to give you the green light, but could be a shower or few around. It's a 20% chance of rain. Certainly not expecting it to be a washout or anything like that, but there could be a shower or two, especially north side on up into the mountains. But it is tomorrow afternoon that the chance of showers and thunderstorms starts to ramp back up across Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. Going for a high temperature in the lower 90s tomorrow in Atlanta, Gainesville 89, Athens 91, 89 Rome, 89 Noonan. Notice it will still feel hotter than what the thermometer reads, but not 100s. Thinking our heat index temperatures tomorrow, what it feels like. Going to hang out more in the mid to upper 90s, perhaps a few folks right up to 100 degrees, but probably not going to see dangerous levels of heat index temperatures tomorrow afternoon. All right, 11 a.m. tomorrow, forecast model, just one of many we look at, but all kind of insinuating and signaling, I should say, the same story. A pretty quiet start to the day. We're going to bring in that first alert, though, as we get into the afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms once again forming over the metro, also off to the north and west, kind of building down into the metro through early evening. And then, like today, as soon as the sun sets, we're going to begin to drop that chance of showers and thunderstorms. And good news if you have plans on Independence Day that involve outdoor activities. Yes, there is a chance of showers and storms, but I think a little bit more spotty than on Monday. Wednesday, Thursday looking a little drier, still a few storms around. And then Friday looking a little wetter, kind of a little bit of a variation day to day here. Not the exact same amount of coverage day to day across the area, and that's just because of typical summertime features, different temperatures each day, any leftover boundaries left behind by the previous day's storms, those could signal and fire new storms. So it really just depends on a lot of features that can't be modeled well this far out, but there will be, variations in the amount of showers and storms we see day to day, but at least a handful popping up each and every day through the extended 7-day forecast. Austin Vance, hello to you. Thanks for watching. I have a question. Do you think the storm will start weakening tonight? Yes, we certainly do. In fact, I can bring back up that same hour-by-hour forecast. We're going to look at a computer model here, and we're already noticing some weakening. In fact, before we show you the computer model, let's hop over to First Alert Radar, and I will loop it now, switch over radar modes, loop it for the past, let's say, 3 hours. And notice how storms were really vigorous early this evening. They flared up over Atlanta, lots more reds and yellows and oranges. Now we're noticing more green. The only cluster that's really prevailing at this point is this on the southwest side. And yes, these storms will linger a little longer, perhaps to about 10 p.m. as they build off to the north and to the east, probably staying south and southeast, and southwest, I should say, of Atlanta proper, but into LaGrange within the next hour, really within the next 45 minutes. Barnesville within the next hour, Sonoy within the next maybe hour and a half. But in general, storms are forecast to weaken. And in fact, I can show you the hour-by-hour forecast, what a computer model thinks storms will be doing. And look how it's doing very well with storms south and west of Atlanta. It's modeling those very well so far. And notice how they kind of gust out. But maybe a few scattered downpours into Atlanta through 10 and 11, but scattered hit or miss. And then falling apart altogether, even those storms up in Tennessee falling apart before they get to North Georgia. So yes, Austin, to answer your question, it'll take some time in this setup, but we will see showers and thunderstorms gradually weaken as we go into the overnight hours. A reminder, if you do have evening plans or if you need to check the forecast, maybe you work the third shift or you work early Monday morning, need to be up and on the road by 3 a.m., open up the First Alert Weather app. It's a great tool to have. Just search First Alert Weather or Atlanta News First in your app or Google Play Store, and you can watch the forecast with meteorologist Rodney Harris, Ella Dorsey, Courtney Jacobazzi. They'll have the forecast for you streaming in the app starting tomorrow morning at 4:30. But we do expect a pretty quiet start to the day. The risk of storms really declining after midnight. CP Y'all fan, hi. When will the daily severe storm pattern change? Thank you for all you do. Thanks for watching. It's going to take some time. Honestly, and I'll bring back up that 7-day forecast, I think that there will at least be a chance of isolated storms, and because of the heat and the humidity each day, the energy that's able to build each afternoon, 1 or 2 storms could become strong to severe just about each and every day. There's a 7-day forecast, I think a little quieter as we get into the middle of the week, but not completely dry. And again, there could be a severe storm or two at just about any day in this type of pattern. I think we're locked in it through at least next weekend, though probably a little less stormy than what we just had by the time we get into especially Wednesday and Thursday. Not storm-free, but less stormy. It's kind of the trend as we get into the middle of the work week. Still hot, still humid, certainly still enough energy for storms to push strong limits. And probably like the past few days, the main threat will be gusty winds. But I do think a little bit of a noticeable difference in the amount of rain we see. There will still be some, but the amount of rain and storms we see, CP Y'all fan, by the time we get into the middle of the week. Friday, maybe a boost in our rain chance. It will be eyeing next weekend. Some signs that we could try to dry out again. But, don't want to bite on that too much. Certainly could still be some showers and thunderstorms impacting some plans, even as we get into next weekend. Hopefully that answered your questions, Austin and Vita and CP. If you have any other questions, reminder, you can always message me, Cutter Martin, CutterMartin, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Not just myself, but Courtney Jacobazzi, Ella Dorsey, Rodney Harris, Patrick Pete, Fred Campagna, and Jennifer Valdez. Any of our social media accounts, give us a holler, send us a message. We'll answer your weather questions as they come in. And a reminder, full forecast coming up here. So look at the clock in less than 30 minutes now. Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV at 9 p.m. We'll have a 10 o'clock hour, and we'll have some even better data coming in by then, our evening model cycle. And any alterations to the forecast, so don't expect many, we'll pass them along. And you can get the forecast as well. First Alert Weather app and at atlantanewsfirst.com. We're talking storms, but let's leave you with a gorgeous view after some earlier storms. There, Marietta Square, looking back towards the setting sun, some of those distant storm clouds. Keep an eye on the forecast this evening. In general, the later it gets, the lesser of a risk you have of being impacted by rain showers and storms, but really now through about 11, at least still a few showers and storms around. We'll keep you updated on TV, in the app, and online.